So welcome back everyone. Glad to be here again. So in this part, we are going to see 5 code editors for programmers. We're going to find out the installation and their uses. Then after that, we are going to use one of the code editor. No, I'm not going to reveal that to you. After we've done, we are going to pick anyone you love. Then I'll use anyone I want to start our practical for today. So this part will be moving to introduction to HTML4. This is the fourth part where we are going to take the HTML styles and text formatting. So follow along with me as we will be moving to today's part of our HTML. But first, we are going to talk about the 5 code editor, which I promise to talk about in this part of our video. So now first, we have 5 code editor for programmers that are solely common that they use. The first one is the VS Code. We also have Sublime Text. We have Atom. We have PyCharm. And we as well have Eclipse. First, we'll be taking what a VS Code is, which is also known as Visual Studio Code. We are going to see how to install and use the VS Code. For installation, the first thing to do is to download the VS Code. You visit the official website, which is this. If you want this link, you can chat me up on the comment section. Then I can forward the link to you. Or you can join the Telegram group where the link will be available for you. Or probably you can write this out on your browser so that it will direct you to the link. So when you go to the link, click on the download button. Choose the version that matches your operating system. If you are using Windows, MacOS, or Linux. Now, let me show you. Going to my browser, I've gone to the link, and here is my VS Code. You can see this button up here, download section. So you click on download. When you click on download, it will download directly to your Windows, or you come straight here. If you are not using Windows, you can pick what version you want. Probably if you are using MacOS, if you are using Linux, so you can click on whatever you want here. If you are using Windows, you click download here. If it's MacOS, click download here. If it's Linux, and so on. So let's go back to the installation of how to install this. I already downloaded it, so I will not go further to download it in this video. So we do that. Then if you are finding it difficult to download, put that on the comment section, then we'll discuss on what to do together. Or probably on Telegram link where it's given in the where you can see it in the summary of the video. You can go to the Telegram link, then we can discuss on how to do that if you are finding it difficult to download yours. So after downloading your VS Code, now to install it. If it's on Windows, you can run the downloaded installer and follow the installation. If it's on MacOS, open the downloaded DMG file, drag the VS Code icon to the application folder. Then if it is on Linux, you follow the installation instructions for a specific distribution. So there's always installation instruction on their website. Now, you moving to the using of the VS Code. After you've launched the VS Code, if it's on the window, you look for the VS Code icon in the start menu or on the desktop and double click it. Look for the VS Code icon in the start menu or on the desktop and double click. On your start menu on your window, search for VS Code on it and double click after you've installed your VS Code into your system. If it is on MacOS, open the application folder, locate your VS Code, then double click. Your VS Code will open. If it is on Linux, you open your application launcher or use the terminal to run the code. Now, after you've opened your VS Code, then how can you get started on the screen? When you open the VS Code for the first time, You'll be greeted with a welcome screen that provides helpful information you can choose to start a new project. I'm going to show you my VS Code, which I've already downloaded so that you can see. Okay, so I'm typing my VS Code now so that you can see the welcome. You'll be greeted on your welcome screen. Okay, you can see this welcome here. So this is the welcome. This is the start screen you're going to see. Then you can click on new file, open file, or open a folder that you'll be using to work. Don't worry, we are still going to teach you through on how to use this. Then for the interface of overview, the VS Code interface consists of several sections. We have the Explorer section, we have the editor area, we have the sidebar, we have the status bar, we have the activity bar. When you open your VS Code, just minimize this video, then walk through each of it and understand each part of what is being shown on the screen. For the Explorer that will be shown, which is always located on the left part, this panel shows the files and folder in your project. While for the editor area, the main area, it is where you are going to write and edit your code. For the sidebar, it is located on the right, and this area displays various panels like extension, git, debug, and more. While status bar at the bottom, this bar provides information about the project and extensions. For the activity bar on the left, this bar contains icons for different activities like Explorer, source control, run and debug, extensions, and more. If you are just joining us, do not forget to like our videos and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, we're so grateful for that, for subscribing our channel, and I'm sure you are enjoying our videos. Do well to show you really enjoy the video by writing on the comment sections and liking our video. And if you have questions, do not forget to put that on the comment section. We'll be so glad, so glad to answer whatever questions you have. Then if you want one-on-one coach or discussion, do not forget to click on the link of the Telegram link or copy the link on the browser where to direct you to the Telegram, where you can join the Tech in Tech Telegram channel where we can discuss one-on-one whatever parts you might be finding difficult. Now, for you to open a file or folder to work on your VS Code, this is the first thing you need to do. To open a file, you will see a file up by the left hand side. Open file or use the shortcut on your keyboard, Ctrl+O, Ctrl then O. If you are using Windows or Linux, then you can use Ctrl+O. Or if it is MacOS, it is CMD. CMD is used for the Ctrl, then plus O as well. Then to open. If you want to open a folder, you go to your file, then you open folder or use the shortcut Ctrl+K to open the folder for you. Ctrl+O if it's Windows or Linux. So for Windows, Ctrl+K, for Linux, Ctrl+O. You can use any of the two. Or for MacOS, you can use Ctrl+K or Ctrl+O. So for Windows or Linux, if you use any of the two, it will open your folder or your file. Now, for the installing extension part, for the VS Code, it supports extensions that enhance its functionality. So to install some extensions that might be useful for you when you are coding, first you click on the extension icon. You will see that by the left in the sidebar, you see a square icon. Then you search for extension using the search bar. Whatever extensions you want, like that will enhance your coding. As we go on in our coding, we are going to explain how to download or to install any extensions of your choice that will help you. So you click on install on the desired extension you want. Now to run it, you have to open a file in the editor area and start writing your code. So to run to write and to run your code now. Remember I've told you earlier how to open your file. So after opening the file successfully in the editor area, then you can start writing your code. You can see that it's different from the one we are using earlier, text editor that we are using earlier. So number two, you can also use integrated terminal for running commands and scripts. You can open the terminal using Control plus backtick or go to view, then you see terminal. So when you click on view in your VS Code, you are going to see terminal where you can, which is also the integrated terminal for running commands, where you can run commands and scripts. Don't worry, I'm still going to talk about that, but for HTML, for now, we will not run the commands. But when we start like putting our codes in air, like in Git or in using our Git or GitHub, we are going to understand better how to use the terminal. This is all we are still going to explain in our video, but we have to take it step by step. Remember, our main goal is for us to teach all the basics knowledge you need for the introduction of HTML. And that is why this course is for the beginners. Gradually, we extend to the tough part till you become a pro or an expert. So we have to explain that step by step for you to better understand. So that is why we are focusing first on the coding part first before we start talking about using the terminal. But this is just an explanation of how to use the VS Code, so that when we start using those parts, you get to understand that we've already talked about it. If you're just joining us, do well to watch those previous videos, because this part is the introduction of HTML4. So we have introduction of HTML1, 2, and 3. So if you're just joining us, try to watch the 1, 2, and 3 so that you can understand all those parts before moving to this part. Then if you already have knowledge about that, then you can continue watching this video to understand how to use the 5 code editors that programmers usually use. Now, we can also customize your VS Code. To customize the VS Code setting, we have themes and key bindings. You can do that through the files. You see preferences in the menu part. Then explore the settings.json file to configure your VS Code behavior further. But for now, we are still going to give basic knowledge of what you just need in the VS Code. We are going to do that at the end of this video. Follow along as we go on this video. We are going to see a lot, in fact, a lot. I'm sure you surely enjoy that as well. So don't skip any of these parts. Follow along step by step so that you not find it difficult to understand some parts or some aspects. For the integrated source control, which is called Git that I mentioned earlier, which will make use of our terminal for that, the VS Code has a built-in Git integration, and you will see that Git icon in the sidebar for your version control tags. In fact, it is so important to make use of this Git, because this Git is so important that whatever you code, you have to put it in the air. What does that mean? You have to save it in the space so that, for instance, if your system gets crashed or something happened to it, you could not retrieve your code. Now you saved it in your GitHub, like Git has helped you to be able to save it in your space, so you'll be able to retrieve your code back. Step by step, don't worry, I'm going to explain all that to you. But for now, let's focus on our explanation on what VS Code is. But there's a point I would like you to take note. Remember that this is just a basic overview of how to use our VS Code. But as you start using the VS Code more extensively, you are going to discover a lot of features and capabilities that it has, such as debugging, integrated terminal, advanced extensions for specific languages and frameworks. But you're going to enjoy using VS Code. And you know what? It is free. Using VS Code is free. No payment for it. And that's why a lot of programmers enjoy using this. And I'm sure you enjoy using this as well. So follow along. Let's see the next one of our code editor. We'll be moving to the next part now, which is the Sublime Text. Now, this is another code editor that programmers enjoy using. For the installation, we're going to discuss how to install and to use Sublime Text. For the installation part, You download Sublime Text using the official website, which is www.sublimetext.com. Then, after moving there, you click on the download button, then you choose the version you want. Let me show you. After clicking on the link or going to their website, this is what you see. So you download for Windows, you can see it here. If it's Linux, you click here. If it's Mac, then if it's on Windows, you click here. So I won't be downloading that. So you can do that at your leisure time if you want Sublime Text Editor, code editor for your own part. Then, if you're having issue downloading it, feel free to put that in the comment section or on the Telegram group where we can discuss further. Now, after downloading it, how to install it. On the window, if you are to install on window, you run the downloaded installer, then you follow the installation prompt there. Then for macOS, you open the downloaded DMG file, then you drag Sublime Text icon to the application folder, just like for VS Code. Then on Linux, you follow the installation instructions for your specific distribution. Now, how to use it? To launch Sublime Text for Windows, you look for the Sublime Text icon in the Start menu, which is always down by the left, or on the desktop, and double click it. Then for macOS, you open the application folder, then you locate your Sublime Text and you double click it. While for Linux, you open your application launcher, then or you use your terminal to run it. Now for the interface overview of how Sublime Text is. The Sublime Text interface is minimalist and clean because it consists of the menu bar, the sidebar, the editor area, the tab bar, the status bar. For the menu bar now, it's always seen at the top. This bar contains menus for various commands and options. For sidebar, it is located on the left. This panel shows the files and folder in your project. For the editor area, the main area where you are going to write and edit your code. While the tab bar is just above the editor area, then it displays open files as tabs. The status bar is always at the bottom. It provides information about the current file, the line, and more of what you need. Now, how will you now open a file to start writing your code or a folder? To open a file, you have to go to the file. You see the file up. Open or use the shortcut Control O if you are using Windows or Linux. If you are using macOS, CMD is known as is for control. And you put Control O as well. Then, for you to open the folder to start working, you use the shortcut Control plus Shift plus O if you are using macOS. Now, to write and edit your code now, you have to open a file in the editor area and then you start writing your code. For Sublime Text, it supports various programming languages and offers syntax highlighting and code completion. It has some keyboard shortcuts. Sublime Text is known for its extensive use of keyboard shortcuts. In fact, it has a lot. Some commonly used ones are Control X, that's Control plus S. It's common for Windows and Linux. While for CMD is also CMD plus X. It is used for undo. Then for redo, you can use Ctrl plus Shift plus Z for macOS for redo. Then for Ctrl plus P for Windows and Linux or CMD plus P for macOS, it is used to quickly navigate to files. So these are the common keyboard shortcuts that is being used in Sublime Text. Now for the packages and plugins in Sublime Text can be extended through packages and plugins. The packages can add features, themes, and syntax highlighting for various languages. While to install packages, you can use the package control package. The instruction for installing it can be found on Sublime Text website. So you click on their website, you can see a lot of instructions that you will need to install their packages. And also on how to install Sublime Text itself. Now, if you want to customize the Sublime Text to your taste, you go to the settings. You see themes, key binding, through the preferences there at the menu part. Then you can customize to what you want. But take note, for Sublime Text, take note of this. Remember that Sublime Text has a trial version with an unlimited evaluation period, but it does encourage you to purchase a license for continued support and use. So as you explore Sublime Text further, you will discover more of its features and functionality for coding and text editing. But a lot of programmers love using Sublime Text, but it gives you opportunity for a trial version. Some it has limited time though. Then after you've exhausted your limited time, then you're encouraged to purchase a license for your continuous use to keep supporting Sublime Text. So feel free to choose whatever code editor you wish can be convenient for you. So we talk about two now. Talk about the VS Code. Talk about the Sublime Text. Now we're moving to the next part of our code editor, which is Atom. Now, I'm sure I don't know if you've heard of it before. In this part as well, we are going to see how to install and use Atom code editor. For the installation tool, you first download Atom. You do that by visiting the Atom website, http://atom website, like atom.io, something like this. So it will direct you here when you go to the website. So when you go to the website, you click on the download button. Then you can choose any version that matches your operating system. If you're having issue in downloading it, feel free to put that in comment section. Then we'll discuss on what to do. On Telegram group, chat me up on the Telegram group. We see a lot of programmers like minds like you that will be ready to assist you, especially on Telegram group channel, where you find the link in the sections, the bio sections that were written. So, or you put that in comment sections on how to do that. If you're having any questions, and do not forget to click on like and subscribe to my channel if you're just joining us. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much. Do not subscribe because you'll be missing, and I'm sure you don't want to miss any of our videos that will be coming up because I'm sure you are gaining a lot from this video. Now, for us to install Atom, if it's on the window, you run the downloaded installer and follow the installation prompt. Then for macOS, you open the downloaded DMG file, you drag the Atom icon to the applications folder, just like what we did earlier in Sublime. Then on your Linux, you follow the installation instructions or specific instructions as well. Now, how do we use Atom? First, to launch Atom, if it's on window, look for the Atom icon in the start menu or on the desktop and double click. Then for macOS, open the application folder, locate Atom and double click it. If you want to follow this step by step on how to do that, just reduce the video in this button here, then you drag it to the size of the screen you want, then you follow step by step on how it is being followed on this, it's being discussed, on this video. And if you're having question or difficulty, feel free to put it on the comment section. Now for the interface overview, the Atom interface is designed for flexibility and customization. We also have the menu bar, we have the slide bar, we have the editor area, we have the tab bar and the status bar. So for Atom, the menu bar, you always see at the top. This bar contains menus for various commands and options. While for the sidebar, it is located on the left. This panel shows the files and folder in your project. Then for the editor area, the main area where it is the main area where you're going to write and edit your code. Then the tab bar, it is always above the editor area. So this bar displays and open files as tabs. Then for the status bar at the bottom, this bar provides information about the current file, the line, and more. Now to open your file folder and start working, to open your file, you have to go to the file there, click open, or use the shortcut Ctrl+O if you are using Windows or Linux. Then for macOS, CMD+O. And the same thing to open your folder, you go to the file as well. Then you add your project folder, or use the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+O if you are using Windows and Linux, or Ctrl+Shift+O if you are using macOS, which is CMD. Now to write and edit code on your Atom, the first thing you need to do is open a file in the editor area and then you start writing your code. Atom always supports various programming languages, so you don't have issue, and it also offers syntax enlightening and basic code completion. There are some keyboard shortcuts that Atom have as well. Atom has keyboard shortcuts for various commands. Some that are commonly used are Ctrl+X, which is for Windows and Linux, or CLD+X if you're using macOS, and it is used to save file. For Ctrl+Z, if you are using Windows or Linux, or CM+Z if you are using macOS, is used for undo. Control plus Shift plus Z if you are using Windows or Linux, or CMD plus Shift plus Z for macOS is used to redo. By Control plus P, Windows or Linux, or CMD plus P if you are using macOS, to quickly navigate to your file. So these are shortcuts that are commonly used in Atom. Now let's see the package and the theme part. Atom can be extended through packages and themes. Packages add features and functionality, while themes change the visual appearance. So to install packages and theme, what to do is go to File, then Settings or Edit. Then you see Preferences on window. Then you can install and search for packages or themes. For the customization part, you customize some settings, themes, and key bindings through the file. Then you go to Settings or Edit or Preferences on the window. You see the menu there where you can do whatever you want to customize the Atom. So, but take note for this, it is so important. Remember that Atom is free and open source. So as you are going to use Atom more extensively, you are going to find its extensibility and community contributed packages to be powerful tools for enhancing your coding experiences. So Atom 2 is a lovely tool, code editor that you can use, that programmers love using. It is free. It is free and open source to use. So you can enjoy using that. So feel free to pick any of the code editor of your choice. Now we'll be going to the fourth part of the code editor that programmers love using to code and they enjoy, which is PyCharm. Now PyCharm, how do we install and use PyCharm? The installation, the same way, we download it first by visiting the official website www.jetbrain.com/PyCharm. Then you choose the version that matches your programming needs. Now, PyCharm has the PyCharm community part or the PyCharm professional. In this PyCharm community part, it is free. You can use it whatever you want anytime. But for the PyCharm professional, you have free trials days. I think it's 30 days or so. Then after that, you pay. So feel free to pick any part you want, either the professional part or the community part. Now, let me show you how it looks after going to the website. You see something like this, then click on download. So I'm not going to download that because I already have that in my system. So feel free to pick that, to download that if that is what you want to use for your coding. Now, after you've downloaded it, you have to install. Download the installer appropriate for your operating system if you're using Windows, macOS, or Linux. Then you run the installer executable and follow the installation instructions. Now, how do we use PyCharm? First, you launch PyCharm. How do we launch it? For Windows, look for PyCharm icon in the Start menu or on the desktop and double-click. Then for macOS, open the application folder, locate your PyCharm, double-click. Then for Linux, navigate to the PyCharm installation directory. Then you want the PyCharm executable. Now, how do we activate or evaluate? If you are using the professional edition part, you will need to activate it with a valid license. Remember, I told you it's paid one. Then if you are evaluating the professional edition, you can use it for limited time before deciding whether to purchase a license. So there will be a grace part where you'll be given opportunity to make use of this for a limited time. Then you now decide whether you purchase a license or not. While for the community edition part, it is free, so it does not require activation. So for the professional part, you pay for the valid license. After activating that or opening your PyCharm, we have a welcome screen just like the VS Code. Then when you launch your PyCharm, you'll be greeted with a welcome to PyCharm screen. Then you can start a new project by opening an existing project or directly open a file. Now for the interface overview, the PyCharm interface is feature-rich and is designed to streamline Python development. In it, we have the menu bar, we have the toolbar. For the menu bar, you see it at the top. This bar contains menus for various commands and options. While the toolbar, you see below the menu bar, this area provides the quick access to common actions. Now, for the Project Explorer tool, the editor area, and the terminal and the tabs, which is on the interface overview. The project explorer, it is located on the left. This panel displays your projects and files. The editor area, it is the main area where you write and edit Python code. The terminal, it is always located at the bottom. So this area provides an integrated terminal for running your commands. While the tabs is above the editor area, and this area displays open files as tabs. Now how can we now create an open project? So to create a new project, what will you do? You click the create new project part on the welcome screen, or you go to your file and click on new project. So to open an existing project, what should you do? Click open. So on the welcome screen, or go to file, then you click open. Now how can we now write and edit Python code? Open a file in the editor area, start writing your Python code. Then, or the PyCharm offers features like code completion, syntax highlighting, and error highlighting. Take note of this. PyCharm is used to write Python code. But for now, we are using HTML. I'm still writing HTML code. So I'll suggest you use the three we've talked about earlier. VS Code, talk about our Sublime, talk about our Python. So use that one to write HTML code. But PyCharm is solely used to write Python code. So take note of that. Now we can also run and debug on Python. You can run and debug your Python programs directly from your PyCharm using your run and debug configurations. And to run a Python program, what will you do? You right click the main script, you select run, and you choose the appropriate configuration. If I'm too fast, you can slow on the settings, slow what I said, or go back to what I've explained earlier, then you watch it over again for you to understand better. Now you can also customize your PyCharm. How can you do so? Customize PyCharm settings, go to your setting themes and keep binding through the file settings. Through the file, after you click on the file, you see settings. On the setting, you see preferences. If it's macOS, you see preferences. Then menu. There you can customize your PyCharm, whatever color or settings you want. Now for the integrated tools and features, PyCharm offers many integrated tools such as Python console, version control, database tools, and more. So feel free, go through it, like test run it, work with it, play with it, then you'll be able to learn on how to use it. Other ones you talk about, VS Code, that's some Sublime, work with it. Just as you are working on it each day by day, you get to improve yourself and you know how to make use of it better. But take note of something important when using PyCharm. Remember that PyCharm Community Edition part is free and open source, while the PyCharm Professional Edition offers more advanced features compared to the Community Edition part. The professional part offers more advanced features, which requires a license for continued use. So as you use PyCharm more extensively, you will find its robust capabilities for Python development, testing, debugging to be highly beneficial. So if you want the advanced feature, it will be better for you to download the professional part, which is the paid license part. But if you don't really want the advanced features, you can still work on the community editions. And take note, PyCharm is only used for writing code in Python. So we'll be moving to the next code, which is the last one, last but not the least, which is the Eclipse. Now, how do we install and use Eclipse? It's the same way we'll be talking about things. First, you download it by using the official website, www.eclipse.org. Now, let me show you how it looks for the Eclipse part. You see something like this, then you can see download here. So I'm not going to download it. So you can download that if you want Eclipse as your code editor. So download that. Then if you're having issue downloading it, feel free to put that in comment sections on Telegram group where we are going to assist you as fast as possible. So you navigate to the download sections, then you choose eclipseide versions that is corresponding to your programming needs. You can choose eclipseide for Java developers, or eclipseide for Java EE developers. Then you install Eclipse. So it's only more used also for Java developers. They love using Eclipse. So for you to install it, you download the installer appropriate for your operating system if you are using Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Then you run the installer executable and follow the installations instructions. Now, how to use Eclipse? First, if it's on Windows, you look for the Eclipse icon in the start menu or on the desktop, then you double click it. Then if it's on MacOS, you open the application folder, you locate Eclipse and double click it. If it's on Linux, you navigate to the Eclipse installation directory, then you run the Eclipse executable. Now the workspace selection. When you launch the Eclipse for the first time, you are going to be prompted to choose the workspace directory. And this is where your projects and settings will be stored. Then you can choose the default locations where you want it to be saved or a specific or custom directory. Then for the interface overview of the Eclipse IDE has a more complex interface. The reason is due to its extensive features. It has a lot of features. We have the menu bar, we have the toolbar, we have the project explorer, we have the editor area, we have the console area, we have the tabs. Now, for the menu bar, seen at the top, this bar contains menus for various commands and options. For the toolbar, below the menu bar, this area provides quick access to common actions. For the project explorer, it is located on the left. This panel displays your project and files. For the editor area, the main area where you are going to write and edit your code. The console area, this is located at the bottom, and this area shows output and error messages. While the tab, which is just above the editor area, this area displays open files and tabs. Now, we want to create a project. How do we do that in our Eclipse? To create a new project Java, for example, you go to your file, then you see new, click on new, then you click on the Java project you want, then you follow the wizard configure to configure your project settings. Now, Eclipse supports various project types depending on the plugins you've installed already on your Eclipse. Now, for us to write and edit Python code, the first thing you need to do is open a file in the editor area. Sorry, for you to, yes, you have to open your file in editor area when you want to write code in your Eclipse. Then Eclipse offers features like code completion, syntax highlighting, and error highlighting. So building and running is part two. You can build and run your project directly from Eclipse using the run and debug configuration. So to run your Java program on Eclipse, you have to right click the main class file. You select run as and choose the appropriate options. So it is mainly used to write Java code. Now the plugins and extensions for Eclipse power lies in its plugins. So you can install plugins for different programming languages like program language frameworks and tools that you want to use it for. So to install plugins, you go to help, then you see Eclipse marketplaces, then you can search for the desired plugins you want to use it for. If you also want to customize your Eclipse, you go to the settings, themes, and key bindings through the windows. You see preferences in the menu part. Then you customize to whatever you want. But take note of this about Eclipse. Remember that Eclipse is an extensive IDE with a steeper learning curve compared to some other code editors, especially the one we've explained earlier. So it is highly customizable and is a popular choice for Java and enterprise development. So as you become more familiar with Eclipse, you are going to uncover its capabilities for managing large projects, debugging, and collaboration. So feel free to choose if you want to use this, but remember it's used mostly for Java code editor. So if you want to use this as well, feel free to use that to download it in the system and start using. So now, which one are we going to use? Which one are we going to use for our HTML coding? For this video, we are going to use our VS Code editor for most of our coding, especially for our HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so on. You are going to enjoy using VS Code and follow along on our videos as we teach you on how to use our VS Code step by step. So teach you on how to download a lot of plugins that will assist you in your coding, that will make your coding beautiful, that will make it simple for you, make it easier for you to code. So if you don't want to use VS Code as your own, as we go along, if you don't enjoy it, you can download other code editors we've discussed so far and follow promptly on how to download it step by step. Then if you're still having difficulties on to do that, feel free to put whatever questions you have in the comment section. Do not forget to click on like and subscribe on our channel. Then if you already subscribed, thumbs up to you. Do not unsubscribe so that you keep enjoying this. And when you subscribe, do not forget to click on your notification to remind you whenever our videos are out so that you can keep watching to improve yourself. And if you're watching this, you want to really learn how to build a lot of projects, code, how to build websites, portfolio. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up in coding. You can do this. And that is why we are assisting you through this channel. And we are starting from beginning to help you to improve on coding. And that is why this channel is mainly for beginners, starting from scratch. If you have not watched our previous video, do well to do so, if you're especially if you're a beginner, to understand fully on what we discussed so far. So that when we discussing the next one, it will not be strange or difficult for you. And if you're enjoying our videos, do not forget to share and like our videos. So we're moving now to our main part of this video, which is introduction to HTML4. And in this part, we'll be talking about our HTML styles and HTML text formatting. So the first, we'll be talking about our HTML styles, and we'll be using our VS Code in all our coding today. So let's move. Now for HTML styles, what does that mean? The HTML style attribute is used to add styles to an element such as color, font, size, and more. So we include our styles in our HTML code to be able to improve our code to make it beautiful. That is the purpose of our style. Now, like this code written here, as you can see, we have the doc type HTML. We have a first paragraph, I am normal. Then for P style, we are telling it to give us color red for I am red. So then for color blue, I am blue. This is just the content of what will be displayed. Now this style is telling it the color, and here is the font size. It's telling it the size of what you've written on your content, of what it should be. Here is our VS Code that I'll be using for this video. So after downloading and installing the VS Studio, you see something like this. So this is the welcome part that will welcoming you. Then here is the start. You can create your new file here. You can open file, open your folder. This is the Git that you can use in your terminal to put your code in this. Then here are the recent project I've worked on. So it's going to show you here. But here, it's not be showing you anything if you're just downloading and you've not done any project. Now in this place, it's going to walk you through the VS Code. You can click on here to get started using your VS Code. It explains some tools in the VS Code. Now here you can explain the fundamentals of how to use it, then how to boost your productivity, how to get started with Python development, and so on. How to get started with the Python notebook and so on. So in this beginning place, which is the welcome part, it explains a lot for you. So now we will starting with our, we can here open new file. You can click on new file here. Then it's telling me to create the name of my file. Remember, we are working on HTML, so I can just put sample.html and click enter. So you can see that it has gone directly to my folder. So remember to put .html to help the browser to identify what kind of programming you are writing. Then you click on save create file. Okay, it's telling me this has already existed, but I'll say yes, I want to replace it with it. So this is my file now, my VS Code now. So I can write my code here and start working. So remember the code I showed you earlier? So let me go there to see if I can copy out the code. So I'm going to my notepad here. I have the code here. So I'm going to copy my code here, then control copy and come here, then I will control paste. Can you see? So I've already pasted my code. You can see that how beautiful it makes it. That's like working with VS Code. You surely enjoy it. So here is run and debug. Here is the extension. Here is the source control. Here is the explorer, and here is Python if you want to work on Python. So this explorer part here shows what is not showing earlier in the code. So here it's trying to tell us, you can see sample.html is where we are working on, just displaying what you are working on by the left side. So if you don't want to display again, you can just flip it back and it remove it. So now I'm going to save this now. This is already saved in my file already. Then I want this to be displayed on our browser. So what will I do? I'll right click on this. I click on right click, then I go to open with live server. Now this live server was already installed. That is part of the plugins that you can install. You can see all these plugins I've installed. So you click on here on this page, you see a lot of plugins I've already installed. Then if you don't have it, you can just click on this search. You just type live server. Live server. And can you see live server here? So you just click on this. So because I've already installed mine, so it's not showing me to install any longer. So I've not installed this type. It's showing this. So this live server 5 here is showing this one. I think this one is for PHP or stuff. So you can just, I've already installed the first one here. So that's why it's not showing me to install again. So I'm going to use the live server. The live server will make my work easier. It will help me to be able to take my work to the browser. So I'll right click now, then I'll go to open with live server, then you wait for it to load. Another way we can work on this is go to your file. You can go to new folder, create your folder. Let's put tech.html. Any name you want, just make sure you put tech, or let me just put only tech, just to create your folder first, a name for your folder. Let me put tech in tech underscore, because that's our name. Then enter. Then I can, after doing that, I can right click and open with, you can see I have option of my code. I can open with VS Code. Can you see the logo? VS Code. So you wait for it to load. Now, I've opened it now with my VS Code. This is my folder. Then you come here, this first part here, create new file. You click new file here. Then you can put it as sample.html. I love doing this method, it's more easier. Then you click enter. So it has already created. So to get our code so that we can write it, we can go to I've already copy and paste on the notepad. So we go to our notepad and copy, and I'll paste it here. Control paste. So we've already saved that. Then we want to view it in our browser. You right click on it just like I said earlier, then you open with your live server. Then wait for it to show in our browser. You can see this down here, it's saying starting, go live. So if you don't have live server, do not forget to go to your extension here, search for live server, then you install it. So we are waiting for it to show. So can you now see? Can you see? I am normal, I am red, I am blue, I am big. Now let's compare what we've done with our code and analyze it one after the other. So we are going to analyze the code one after the other to see what is being displayed on our browser. So we have it here. I'll be minimizing it so that we can view it together and see what we've done, so that for better understanding of our work. So now, can you see now here that says I am normal? Can you see? There is no style in this first one on line 5. There is no style in it. So it gave us just naturally the code we wrote on our HTML. Can you see it here? It has a default color, black, and a default font. So now, this second line, which is line 6, is telling us the style of what the content should be. So it's trying to tell you that, okay, give me a style color, a style, and the style name is color, and you specify which is color red. Can you see that VS Code is giving us the right is because you can still adjust your color by moving it to any color part you want. Can you see? So that is why using VS Code is more easier, unlike using our notepad that we used earlier. So here is saying I am red. Can you see? And give us the content here, display red color. Can you see? Then the second line, which is line 7, also color blue, telling it to give us color blue. I am blue. So can you see it's giving us the color blue. The other style here is trying to tell us that our font size, the size of our content should be size 50 pixel. So you can see that it's bigger than the rest of other ones that we've written above. So let's continue. Let's go on to see more of what we are going to do in our coding. I'm sure you're enjoying this so far, and if you are doing that, you're enjoying it, do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Let's now go to the HTML style attributes. The setting style of an HTML element can be done with the style attribute. And the HTML style attribute has the following syntax. First, you have the tag name, maybe for instance, the P tag, the H1 tag. Then, if you want to put a style attribute, you put style equals to, you write the property, probably the color or the font or whatever you want. Then you put the value, maybe the color red or the font size. Then you always make sure to close it. Then the property is a CSS property, while the value is a CSS value. Now, when we want to do the background color as well, the CSS background color property defines the background color for an HTML element. For instance, we have this code, we have doc type HTML, we have body style, background color will be powder blue. This is a heading, this is a paragraph. So we are going to try this also as well on our code. Then we want to see the difference of what is going to give us compared to the one we did earlier, adding our body style color. So let's do this together so that we'll compare the code together. So we have here the body styles. So we are going to include here in this body here, we'll put style, then we'll put equals to double quote. Let's put a space. Okay, let's write background color. Background color. Let's pick this. Background color. What background color should we? What color should we put? Okay, let's put exactly the one on this background. That blue. Or you can pick any of the color here. So let's pick let's pick aqua. Can you see? Let me extend it more so that you can see what we are doing properly. Okay. So here we put aqua. Then we have this already. So we are going to change this pastel so that the color here will be obvious. We'll see it. Or probably let's leave it just like it. We only want to change the background color of this content we've written. So we are going to, it's already saved automatically. Then you right click, you want to show on here, open with live server. So wait patiently for it to load. Can you see it by the left here? Can you see it here? So we've opened it to our live server. What do we see here? The background color has changed compared to the color it was earlier, because we did not give it a particular color. That was why there was no color there. But now when you give it a star, which is the background color, to be aqua, then everything changed. If you want to change the color, probably you don't want this aqua, you can see, you can move this cursor to whatever color you want. You can see that color is changing. Or you come to this place, you move it, move the color to what you want, then move this to whatever you want. Can you see the color is changing? So VS Code assists you to adjust your code. It helps to make your code so much easier for you to work on. So now we'll be going back to what we are discussing now to see more of what we can do. We have in the next part, I say you should set the background color for two different elements. What does that mean? For instance, we have the H1 tag, we have the P tag. If we put a style background to each of it, let's compare and see what that will give us to see how that is going to be. So we have here, let's say we have h1. Let's write another one down here. We have our h1, h1 star. There's a star here. H1 star equals to color blue, so you can pick any color you want. Okay, let me pick. Should we pick blue? Okay, let's pick blue violet. Yeah. Then you can put any content you want after closing it. But before you close it, you put a semicolon here. Let me move this so that it will be easier. So we have put a semicolon, then you close the tag. Then you can put whatever content you want. This is a sample heading. That's what you want to display. Then the next, you can put your pistol color red, this background. So no need to write that. We already have something like that here. You can put, let's just change this. I am red to be. This is tech. So now let's go back to our browser. You can still right click as well and open with live server, but no need to do that since we've already opened our browser earlier. So you can just go back to our browser, then click refresh for it to change to what we want it to be. So can you now see that has already been refreshed? Now let's change the background color back to the color that will make it visible for us to work on, so that we can be able to see. You can move it here. Okay, let's click this. Can you see it has changed? So now what we just corrected was earlier p style color red. This is tech in tech. Can you see it here? This is tech in tech. Now the next one, the h1 style, we change the heading style to be color blue violet. This is sample heading. So it makes the text, it change the text color. So whenever you want to change your text color, you just include your style in your tag, then you put whatever color you want and put your content. But if you want to change the background or the background, you go to the body, include your style, and put the color you want in your background. So we'll be moving to the next one now, which is the text color. So let's see in the text color, let's see the difference of what we can see. Text color. Now, how do we work with text color? It is what we've shown earlier. You change your heading, like whatever you want to write, you put a style in it and indicate the color you want. Then it is your p tag, your paragraph, whatever content you want, you can change the color to what you want. So if you still have questions in what we've discussed about setting background color for your elements, setting background color for the body style, setting color for your text, feel free to put that in the comment section. And if you are just joining us, don't forget to subscribe on our channel and also like our video. We're moving now to font. The CSS font family property defines the font to be used for an HTML element. Now let's take for instance, we have the h1 style indicating the font family Verdana. IDP style should indicate font family Coria. This kind of fonts we want our content to be displayed. So we are going to work on this now and see, to compare how our code is going to be. So follow along as we are going to write this on our code now. Then we want to compare how our font is going to be with the earlier one. So let's move this to this side. Then we are going to change our p style now. We can just remove this font. Okay, this is font size, so we want to change the font family. So let's delete this. We have font family. Let's put Verdana. Let's see. Verdana. Close it. Then let's change the h1 at the h1. Let's change h1 style to be a font family. Let's also delete this font family. Let's put Korea. You can see you can pick anyone you want just to give you ideas on what to pick. Then put a semicolon, then close it, close the tag. So let's now go back to our browser. Since we've already started working on it, you can as well right click and then just after right clicking, you can just refresh to show, or you just go to your browser and refresh. So this is our browser. Let's refresh and see. Can you see that my font has changed? Now let's compare it with this. Let's move it closer so that it will be easier for us to compare. Now look at this. Here we said we want to change the P star. We change our H1 to be Korea. Can you see that the font have changed compared to other fonts? And for our P tag, can see here that the font has changed to another kind of font, which is what Korea. By this is Vadana. Compared to the other fonts, which has a default font name. But when you indicate the kind of fonts you want, remember we have different names of font. This will give you another style of font, and it makes your work beautiful. So we can also indicate our font to whatever we want it to be, so that our code will be so fine. Now we'll be moving to the text alignment. The CSS text alignment property defines the horizontal text alignment for an HTML element. We have this. What does text alignment means? We are going to indicate that as well. Let's do that together so that we understand what text alignment means. So we are going to change some. Okay, let's delete this to away. Then we'll concentrate on these two so that it will be easier for us. So we can change our text alignment. Remember, when you're changing anything, you always put your style. Your style is indicating your font, your color, your text alignment. So let's change this font family here to be text alignment. Text align, text align. Can you see? Then let's put it text align to be center. Let's delete it. Let's put center. So we are deleting all this because we are no more working with fonts. So let's change the second one to change the text alignment. Let's just delete it all and start writing it. Text align. Let's also put this as center. So let's see how both of those contents will be written since we put the text align as center. So now let's go back to our browser and see what is going to give us. Let's refresh. Can you see now that both of them are in center? The first one we coded earlier. The first one we coded earlier. Let's compare the code to see what it has given us. The first one here, paragraph, I am normal. We did not indicate any style to it. That's why it's just written this way. But these two, this P tag, we change the style to be text align center, trying to tell it that we want our text to be aligned in the center. And you can see that they are both aligned in the center. So just take note of all these styles that we are giving to our code. It makes your work easier. It makes it beautiful. Whatever you want it to be, you indicate it for on your code, then it will show in your browser exactly what you want. And if whatever you want it to be, you have to indicate it using your style. Can you see it here? So it helps to make the code, adjust the code to whatever style you want. Now, the summary of what we've learned since is that we use our style attribute for styling our HTML elements. We also use our background color for background color. We use color for text color. We use our font family for our text fonts. We use our font size for text sizes, and we use our text align for text alignment. So take note of all these we've talked about. Remember when we use our background color, it changes all the background color to the color you indicated it to be. And when you use our text color, it changes just the text to the color you want. When you use your font family, change the font to whatever name of font you want. When you use your font size, you change the text to the sizes of the font you want. And when you put your text align, it align your text to the center. You put it whatever you want. If it's not center, you indicate where you want it. We'll be moving to the next part now, which is HTML text formatting. So HTML contains several elements for defining text with special meaning. So now we are going to see how we can format our text using our HTML text formatting. Now you can see for this code we have this is our p tag. This B means bold. Like we want your text to be bold, while the I is the italics. This XUP is short form of subscript, while SUP here is the short form of superscript. So let's try this out and see the changes we are going to have in our code. So let's see. Let's move it side by side and copy the same code that is given so that to be easier for us. So here you can see that they change the text to be bold. So we are going to move. Okay, let's change this here. Let me close this and put bold. So this closing tag of our bold will be written outside here. Let's close it. So we want this content here to be bold, so that's why we are putting this B, which is short form of bold. So now let's copy this same code. Then we are changing this bold to be italics. Let's change to be I, and here I. Then let's go to our browser now. So we are going to go to our browser now. We'll refresh and see what changes we are going to have. Can you see that they've changed? The first one is now bold and more thick. No need for you to refresh because your live server refresh automatically for you. So yeah, let's move it here. Let's see the code. Let's compare it so that you see what we've done. Now we only change this to, remember we did not touch this part. We only change this to, we change here to be bold and this to be italics. So you can see here is very bold now and thick, and here is now what, italics. It's bent. So this is an example of what, text formatting. Now the next one is what, we want to change this to be subscript. So let's see. Let's copy this code as well. And change something. You are going to move the italics. Then in the middle of this place, we are going to put our subscript. It has a close tag, so you take it away from here and put it outside. Outside the subscript here that you've written. Then the next thing is, remember here, after your subscript, we want only this one, this content here to be written in subscript. Then we want this only and here to be written in super subscript. So we've written this our normal in what, subscript. So I am normal. Let's put I am normal lady. So we want this lady now to be shown in super subscript. So you can put SUP. So this is a close tag. It gives you close tag automatically. So you move it to where it ought to be. Okay. So This the super subscripts. This is your content here. This one was written in sub and close it. Then let me put and I am normal and a lady. So let's say we want just this lady to be shown in source script. So let me copy this and put it in front of where I want it to be displayed. So this close tag will be moved here because it has to be at the end of the content. So this is the content here I want it to display. So I'll just put it here. So let's look at the code one by one. These are p paragraph. I am normal. So this normal here, we want it to be written in source scripts. The content still remain. I am normal and a lady. So this and a will not be written in super subscript. So this lady here is one that will be written in super subscript. And that is why you can see that the text format is written in the front of the content we want it to be written in super subscript, and we close the tag. Just like here too, this normal is one want to it to be written in subscript, and we close it. So now let's go to our browser. It will have changed automatically because it's a live server. Let's go to our browser. Can you see now that it has changed automatically? So let's move the code and see what we've done. So let's compare. So here we have I am. So we want this number to change to subscript. Can you see it's now so it's down? Why the lady here, which is the only one we want it to change to super subscript, it is up. So maybe when you write things in mathematics and you have super raised to power of something, so you use your SUP, which is super subscript, to put it up. Then if it's in mathematics as well, when you have something like base 10, which is always at the down part, so you use your subscript here to put the value down here. So this is an example of text formatting that we use when we are writing our code. So let's continue. Now, we also have other text formatting, HTML formatting elements, because formatting elements were designed to display special types of text. We have the one of B, which is bold text. We've done the example earlier. We have the one of strong. It gives us an important text. It also makes it very bold. And when they are reading the content, when they see that particular word that is being strong or bold, it will help them to see how important that text is. Then we can write, we have the one of I, which is italic text. We have EM, which is the emphasized text. We have the one of marked text, marked text. We have smaller text, make the text very small. We have the one of del. When you put del in that word or context, it deletes the text by putting a line. Then INS, which is the inserted text, the SUB subscript text, and the super subscript. So I would like you to try this just like the example I gave. Fit each of the text formatting to your code and see the difference of what is going to give you each of it. Now let's talk about the HTMLB and the strong element. The HTMLB, which is bold elements, is define the bold text without any extra importance, while the HTML strong element define the text with strong importance. So the content inside is typically displayed in bold. So it helps the reader to know that the content there is something important. So like this now, we are going to try, we tried the one of bold. So let's try the one of strong and let's compare and see how it's going to display for us. So here is my VS Code. So let's see. Here's my VS Code. Let's move it by the side so that we can compare the code. So we have let's see the one we can change. We have our keyboard here, italics here. So let's change the one of italics and put strong and close it with strong. Remember it's not italics, we have to close using your enter. So let's go to our browser now to compare to see the changes we are going to have in I am normal. So can you see now? So the first one here was the one we use for bold. First one here is bold, and one, so sometimes bold and strong work make the content to be bolder, and this strong text help to indicate that the content written there is very important. So can you see that it's changed it to be something thicker to show that content is very important. So we can use all this when we are talking about our code, when we are dealing with our code. We also have the italics and the EM elements. The italic, which is the I, is defines a part of text in an alternate voice or mood. So the content inside it is typically displayed in italics. Tips like the I tag is often used to indicate a technical term, a phrase from another language, a thought, a ship name, and so on. While the HTML EM, which is emphasized text, the content inside is typically displayed in italics. Like for a screen reader now, we pronounce the word in EM with an emphasis using verbal stress. So let's see the difference of that emphasis. We've done the one of like paragraph italic, so we've not done the one of EM. So let's see the difference it's going to give us. Now, sorry, I forgot to delete this I, although it does not have any effect on it, but it's important to do that because there's no italics in this one. So we want to do something here. We want to do the EM emphasis. So let's pick one of these. Okay, let's change this B bold here to be EM and close it as well. So let's see what is going to the difference is going to give us. So we want to see what that EM is. Let's go to our live server now and compare to see what is going to give us. Sorry. Okay. So here's our live server. Can see it here now. The one we talk about the EM that we input. Like I am normal. We change to EM. So it's just like an italic, but when using EM, you're emphasizing that content you've written. So when the reader is reading it, he reads it with verbal stress. So reading it with emphasis. So they are able to know that the content given there needed to be read different. So let's go back to more of our elements. We also have HTML small elements. The HTML small element defines smaller text, while the HTML mark element is define the text that should be marked or highlighted. So we're going to try this too as well on our VS Code. So let's see. Okay, let's pick this. Let me copy this content now. Control copy and let's put it here. Okay, control paste now. So we are going to change this EM to be small. We want to see how it's going to work. Then I'll close it with my small tag. Then the same thing too for the second one. Okay, the mark for the one of mark. So we are going to want to mark the contents here. So we are going to do something now. We want it the contents like I am normal that I written to be marked. So we are going to put mark at the end of the content mark. Okay, I am normal. Okay, so I want to put the contents I want it to be marked. I am normal and a lady. So I want a lady to be marked. So that's why I'm putting it in the middle of that mark tag we are going to use. So now let's go back to our browser and let's see what is going to give us in our browser. So let's see. Can you see? Can you see the difference? So let me move it for you to be able to see what you've written. Can you see the first one wrote small? I am normal. Can you see it now? It made the content very, very, very small. So we can use this tag to make our content small. Why this I am normal? I can say it is written normally. It is written normally. Let's put a space here. Can you see that it gives a space? So it is written normally then and a lady. So we want this and lady to be marked only. And that is why it is marked here. Can you see that it is marked color yellow? Thank you. So we use this. These are example of text formatting that is being used whenever we are coding our work. So it makes our work, it makes the reader to read it with meaning. So let's now move to HTML sub, which we talked about earlier. So the HTML sub element defines superscript text. And superscript text appears half a character above the normal line and sometimes rendered in a smaller font. Superscript text can be used for footnotes like maybe www or whisper or something. So for instance, we have this, we've done it earlier in our code. So let me still show you something like this that we did. I am normal and I'm school. So this superscript makes the value lady to be up so that we can be able to view it up. So we must especially use it in mathematics or for instance when you want to use the content in your footnote or stuff like that. So just feel free play with it and see the different way your text will be formatted using all those tags given. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to share, like our video, and subscribe to our channel. Now let's see the HTML element. The HTML element defines text that has been deleted from a document. Browsers usually strike a line through the deleted text. While the HTML ins, that is insert element, is defining a text that has been inserted into a document browser. And browser will usually underline the inserted text as well. So let's try this as well to see the difference of what is going to give us. So we can still use, let's see. Okay, let's pick this same one that we've been using earlier. Let's remove this emphasis on it and delete the close tag of the emphasis. So we are going to put del to it. We want it to be deleted. We want the browser to see it has been deleted. So we want I am normal and a lady to be deleted from the content. So we are going to put this in the middle of the deleted. So let's also see that insert. Let's also put that insert as well. Let's see the one we are going to insert. Maybe we want to insert instead of we are going to tell it that okay, let me move this emphasis first before we start. Then delete this end tag of the emphasis. So we want to tell it, remember the del is still there, that we should delete the and a lady. But now, after deleting and the lady, we want to tell it to insert something else. So you are going to put your ins to indicate insert. So when you delete and lady, put I and a techie. Do you see now? So now we are going to go back to our browser. Let me show you clearly. Let me extend this first. Can you see? So we are trying to tell it now that okay, this normal should be written, and this del is indicating that the next content here should be deleted. Why this normal, the second line, which is line 14 now, normal should be written. Now I should delete an a lady. So after delete an a lady, you should insert an a tech. So let's check our browser and see what has happened. So let's move this properly so that we can compare what we've done. So from the first line, which is line 13 now, normal, I can see it is written there directly without no changes, because it's not indicated to give us any change. Now the next thing we want it to differentiate is to delete an a lady. Can you see that it cancelled it? Yes, it does. It cancelled it. Then the next line, which is line 14, can you see that it wrote an I am normal normally there. It deleted an a lady, and I told it to insert an a techie. So it tried to underline the content that is requested to be inserted to show that this an a lady has been deleted and this should be in place for it. So just feel free, work with your text formatting, play with it, make adjustments, try the code out. Then you are going to see that it's a lot of fun there, and mostly they are used to help the reader or whoever is going on the website to be able to understand the content that was given in the browser. So let's move forward. We also have other HTML text formatting elements, and these are some of it that we've discussed today, and you can see their description. The one for B defines bold text, the AM defines emphasized text, the italics here, which is the I, defines the part of text in an alternate voice or mode. The small part defines smaller text, make the text smaller. The one for strong defines important text. The SUB, which is the subscripted text. The SUP, which is super subscript, make it the content to be up. The INX defines the inserted text, trying to tell you what to insert. Why the DLE deletes the text by putting a cross line there. Why the mark here defines the marked or highlighted text that we were able to explain earlier. So if I'm too fast, you can still go back to the videos and watch it one after the other. You can pause and play it one after the other to understand better. And if you still have questions despite my explanation, feel free to put it on the comment section or on Telegram group. Then we'll be able to answer whatever questions. So the assignment for this video is using any code editor of your choice. Now I want you to write few lines of code using all the HTML styles we've talked about today and the HTML text formatting we've talked about. Then send a screenshot of your work on the comment section or on the Telegram group. When you do all the assignments I give in each of our videos, it help us to see how progressive you are going. It help us to see that you are following up. It help us to see that you are making changes, improving on your code day by day, and it help us to see areas we can come in to assist you. So do not forget to do this assignment. It will really help you. And if you are gaining value from our video, don't forget to share as well. And if you are just joining us, don't forget to subscribe on our channel and like. You can also share this channel to others who might be having difficulties in some parts of HTML aspect they want to know, or probably they're beginner and they love to code. Share this YouTube channel with them for them to learn as well, just like you are learning too. This will really go a long way for them. So see you in the next video where we'll be discussing our HTML quotations and citation elements, HTML comments, HTML colors, and HTML CSS. I'm sure you want to learn all these as well. So if you are really enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and on your notification so that you can get alert on more of our videos content when they are available.